Hey now, welcome to an extremely abbreviated edition of 580 Sports Talk. I'm Brendan Dworzinski alongside Dan Lucero and Spencer Dupuis. We are here with you until 2:30, and then we are out of here, and the Kansas City Royals will be your drive home audio today. Finale between the Royals and the Mariners, 2:30 pregame start time, 3:10 first pitch from beautiful T-Mobile Ballpark in Seattle. Rubber game. Royals, who have in recent history been absolutely miserable in rubber games, have actually been quite good in their last couple. They've won 2 of their last 3.
Yes, they have, and this would be another big one against a first-place team. They've got Alec Marsh on the bump this afternoon. I love a 3:10 first pitch. Let me tell you what. That is nice timing, the end of the day, kind of close to the end of your workday.
Yeah.
You might be killing time. You might be, burning clock at the end of your 9 to 5 potentially, and you get a little ball game on the radio. You can catch the last few innings when you get home from work. I mean, perfect. You have to stay up late.
Can't beat that. So we will take you right up to the start of the Royals Radio Network broadcast today. We'll get to last night's game here in a moment. Look ahead to Alec Marsh versus Brian Wu for today, plus some final schedule notes as well. The NFL schedule will be released in full tonight. Most of the Chiefs' schedule has leaked at this point. We will break it all down in full tomorrow on the show. However, I do want to bring up, while we have a chance, this Chiefs' schedule sucks. It is ugly.
Remember last year, it was a big talking point when we had Mitch Holthus on, was talking about how the Chiefs played on like every day of a week you could play on.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single day of the week that an NFL game was held, the Chiefs played on that day. And it made it difficult. It can make it difficult for a team to get into a routine, for a team to be able to get into a weekly rhythm, a week in, week out rhythm where you're just playing on Sunday for the better part of your campaign. The league said, hey, what if we did that again? What if we did that again? What if we just crapped all over the holiday weekends of every Chiefs fan all over again and put the Chiefs on TV on all the holidays?
I mean, the logic has to be in terms of quality of play. Well, it didn't hurt them.
They did win the Super Bowl. It's true.
Go ask Andy Reid. He would tell you the most important game the Chiefs played all year was Christmas Day.
Yes, they don't win the Super Bowl. They don't get their pants pulled down and their bottoms spanked by the Raiders in front of God and everybody on Jesus' birthday. Yes, this is true.
Roger Goodell said, well, shoot. I mean, the Chiefs loved doing it last year. It was so meaningful. Why don't we do it again? So
how does that sound, except now you have to be paying for Netflix if you want to see it?
We'll get to the dirty details of it all coming up in full tomorrow. Some other notes from the NFL we'll get to before we are off the air here in just about 20 minutes. Did want to get to Royals baseball from last night, though. Got the win back. Second day in a row, not a great showing from the offense. In fact, they had fewer hits in last night's win than they had in Monday night's loss. However, the difference was, when did you get the big hit? Well, they didn't. Null and void on Monday. They never had a big hit in that game. Nelson Velasquez had not hit a home run in over a month and 10 days since he had last hit a home run. If he is not hitting home runs, he's not a Major League Baseball player.
He's not doing a lot else.
With that profile, he has to be putting the ball into the seats. Absolutely has to be. So I'm happy for him that he was the one who came through. Big swing. That was a rocket off the bat to left field to put the Royals ahead for good last night against Logan Gilbert, who until the 7th inning had been awesome. He was really good last night for the Mariners, like you would expect. But the Royals come through with the big hit. I hope that's the start of things to come for Nelson Velasquez. Maybe an even bigger story than that, though, guys. Michael Wacha broke the trend. He had a tendency breaker last night. He had a good outing against a good team.
He was really good. He was good early and in the contest. He punched out 7 and only allowed the 3 hits in 6 innings. Got off to a good start and kind of served notice that, okay, this is going to be a pitcher's duel. Sometimes when Wacha's had the bad outing, it's gone bad like in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, he was really steady from the get-go and racked up the strikeouts early on.
And he got credited with the win because they were on the road.
Yeah.
If they were at home, he wouldn't have been credited with the win if he went 6 innings and they hit the 3-run jack in the bottom of the 7th.
That's true, since it did happen in the 7th inning. So, yeah, 6 innings pitched, 1 run allowed, only 3 hits, 7 strikeouts, walked a pair. Save for the mistake to Rayleigh, it was almost a flawless night from Michael Wacha. That is awesome to see. The velocity was good. The stuff was working. It was actually, he's had back-to-back what I would call good outings for the guy who's your fourth starter. This one, though, even better in pretty much every facet than the one previously last time out when, he had to work. It worked to get through. I think it was 5 1/3, if I remember correctly, last time out for Michael Wacha against the Angels on Thursday.
No, that was a deep outing. That was 7+.
Was that 7+?
Yeah, that was the one who went 7+. You're thinking of maybe the outing before.
Must have been thinking about the outing before. But either way, he has now shown multiple outings in a row against progressively better teams that this is the Michael Wacha I think the Royals were hoping they were going to get. This is more so best case scenario, maybe not most likely, but best case scenario Michael Wacha. He only gave up 3 hard hit balls the entire night. He had 21 at-bats, 23 batters face total, just 3 hard hits. 3 balls hit 95 miles an hour or harder off the bat. That's awesome from your fourth starter.
The pitch mix was really good. He had the Mariners off balance. He had a good changeup. One of the few pitchers that can work up in the zone with his changeup because of the movement that it has, because of how he throws it. He can get you to stay off of what looks like a hanging changeup. That's rare. Like not a lot of guys have that ability. Usually you throw a hanging changeup, it lands on like Saturn. But Wacha's one guy I've seen pitch in this league with such good action on his changeup, such good arm action, that he can mix it up and down just like he mixes up the rest of his pitches. And when he's on, he can be really, really tough to hit. I wanted to double back to Velasquez real quick before we get to some other things about last night's game.
Can I make one quick statement about Michael Wacha?
Yes, absolutely.
The run value number, I know we've talked about that a bunch. That's really been a theme on the show this week. If you want to see this data for yourself, by the way, it's over at Baseball Savant from MLB.com. Michael Wacha is in the 100th percentile in Major League Baseball in off-speed run value. He has the best off-speed pitch in baseball. That to really emphasize the point you just made about how good he is with that changeup, it is not just really good. It is so far this year the very best in baseball.
How many guys in the league are changeup forward pitchers anymore? That's kind of a lost art. I mean, most guys, starting pitchers in particular, you think about the action on their fastballs or the big slider or the sweeper that guys throw. There are not a lot of guys out there with the killer changeup. Who was the last guy to really thrive with a changeup as his best secondary pitch? I don't think you have to go all the way back to Johan Santana, but that's the first guy I'm thinking of.
Man, Johan Santana was so good.
That changeup was so nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it might be him. If you're talking about a truly elite second option changeup, that's probably the next best one.
And I wouldn't even put Wacha's changeup in that category, but the fact that he is able to pitch off his changeup so effectively, it's really rare that you see a guy with that good a change.
King Felix, maybe?
Felix had a really good one.
Yeah.
When he came up, it was all about his slider, like to the point where the Mariners wouldn't even let him throw it in the minor leagues. It was all about how good his slider was going to be, but he ended up he had a very good slate, very good everything. Won a Cy Young. But you could definitely bring him into that conversation as well. Well, the point I want to make about Velasquez, that home run he hit last night. Did you know what kind of pitch that was off of?
I did not notice what pitch that was. Was it a breaking ball?
It was a slider.
Oh!
Now, it was not a great slider from Logan Gilbert. It was one of those tiring late in the game, not a ton of break, just kind of a spinner, but it was in a tough spot, down and in. And no Royal has struggled more with spin than Nelson Velasquez. That was his third home run of the season, his first one off of a breaking ball. Only the second home run he's hit in his career against a breaking ball. He's hitting 182 against breaking balls with a 341 slugging average. And he got one down and in, and he didn't miss it. And hopefully that's something that helps Velasquez, helps his confidence moving forward, because I think the best version of this Royals team includes his bat going. Somebody's bat in the bottom half of the order going. And with Velasquez's power potential, I think that's the most tantalizing possibility among all of the corner outfield options that the Royals have from the right side of the plate. I still think MJ Melendez has the highest ceiling. But of those right-handed bats or switch hitters that they've got, Velasquez, Renfroe, Blanco, Drew Waters at AAA, Velasquez's power ceiling is higher, I think, than all of those guys. So if he can start to get to that more often against the off-speed stuff, that would be really exceptional. And I think it should be noted while we're talking about guys who've been a drag on the bottom of the lineup, they get that insurance run in the 8th. Who started that rally? Hunter Renfroe drawing a walk and coming around to score on Michael Garcia's single. So
these are guys you don't need to be, speaking specifically of Renfroe, because I agree with you. You need that pop from Velasquez, but you don't need these guys to be all-stars. You need them to be playable bats. That's all you need. Renfroe has not been that for too much of this season, heating up a little bit over the last few games. If he can, you just need him to be a decent 8-hole hitter. That's all you need from him. If you're getting a little bit of production, you can live with that, especially with how good his glove's been this year.
Yeah. And I think that in a game like this, where one swing turns the tide, like that's the other part that is so tantalizing about Velasquez and Renfroe, is that with one swing, they can flip a game.
Exactly.
That's the ceiling for a guy like that. You can turn a game on its ear with one swing, and Velasquez certainly did. And now the Royals have secured yet another winning road trip. Whatever happens this afternoon, they get back on a plane and they will be further above 500 than they were when they left for the West Coast. That's mission accomplished. This is a good road trip. You want it to be a great road trip? Go win today.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They will get a chance coming up with pregame at the bottom of the hour. First pitch at 3:10, taking on the Seattle Mariners in their finale from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. We will preview today's game and get to some other major headlines for the day coming up on the other side of this break on this extremely abbreviated edition of 580 Sports Talk. Since we are off early today, no Wildcat wrap-up this afternoon. Instead, we'll have Tim Fitzgerald with us on Friday. That's your go-home show for Fridays. We're going to have Tim Fitzgerald joining us, and that should be fun. Always a good time to have Fitz
on a Friday.
Yeah.
That's becoming a new trend.
It has. Well, the Royals have played so many of these damn late afternoon Wednesdays that, it just ends up being our send-off into the weekend. I will warn Fitz again, keep it to 3 or 4. Don't finish the full 6er. I do believe one time he said, "Can I get drunk?" I said, no.
I mean, yes, but also no.
Don't tell me. As long as I don't know, we can live with that. But no, Fitz is going to join us coming up on Friday this week. We'll talk to Matt Derrick coming up on Friday. Hoping to get Andy Weingarten on as well. Preakness this weekend. I've barely been on Twitter all day, save for a couple of NFL schedule release notes. I did not see, Dan. He just informed me the favorite for the race is out.
Yes, Bob Baffert famously not allowed the Kentucky Derby. he has a horse in this race, or at least had a horse in this race. Muth was the betting line favorite and was scratched today because Muth has a fever. I think it's
Listen,
Muth. Maybe it's Muth. I don't know. Honestly, I hope it's Muth.
Look, if you have horses on a ranch or a farm and you hear a horse has a fever, I can only imagine the kind of frustration or anger or sadness that probably instills. And if raising horses and training horses is your livelihood, I imagine hearing your horse has a fever is horrible news. However, the idea of horse fever is really irrationally funny to me. Like, oh, I'm sorry, can't run, got a fever.
I have horse fever. That's what I say when I turn on the TV to watch the Preakness.
Jordan played with the flu, horse. What's your excuse? Where's the fever race?
What kind of horseshoes are the flu games?
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh.
That's probably not funny at all. But it's a little funny.
I'm gonna ask Andy, like, how common is horse fever when we have him on Friday? So that's coming up Friday
Best
show.
wishes to the horse.
Yes, Muth, rest easy. We'll see you at the Belmont.
Brat, get some brat in your diet.
We'll talk to Rick Peterson tomorrow on the show for our weekly Lewis Toyota High School Whip Round. We'll have NFL scheduled to get to, talk plenty of Royals baseball, all that coming up tomorrow. Not quite a full show tomorrow. We're off at 5:30 tomorrow. We'll have some K-State baseball to get to, our final K-State broadcast prior to the Big 12 tournament. Today, Royals versus Mariners. Alec Marsh versus Brian. Woo! No.
No, it was good.
Okay,
It was not bad.
Ah,
It was not bad.
It was decent. I think my first one today was better, to be honest with you.
It was. It caught me a little more off guard. I was expecting it this time. It didn't
That's
hit the
fair.
same. Yeah.
You know, wrestlers always say that the most painful move in professional wrestling is Ric Flair chopping. You can't protect yourself at all. It is really the hard edge of his hand right into the chest. Really uncomfortable. Anyway, that's not who's pitching. It's Brian Wu for the Mariners against Alec Marsh. I'm kind of excited for Alec Marsh to pitch today. He was really good in his first game back last weekend.
Yeah, he's been promising and certainly overperforming the fifth starter bar for performance. Like, you consider what you expect to get from your fifth starter, and Marsh has cleared that bar substantially to this point. So good challenge for him, and another good challenge for the Royals to try and get out and win a series against a front-running team out west.
I don't think we can at this point say that the Royals have a pitch lab by any means. I am not willing to go that far, but between how Alec Marsh has pitched this year, better than I expected, to be completely frank with you, and in a very small appearance at the major league level, just 7 innings across 2 appearances for Daniel Lynch, in which he gave up precisely 2 hits and no runs. Maybe the Royals pitching development at AAA and at the Major League Club has taken a major step forward. I think that is something we can at least consider at this point.
It's a maybe, man. I think they brought in Brian Sweeney and some of the other brain trusts that they've brought in for exactly this reason. And I mean, we're streets ahead of where we were in the Cal Eldred era. I know that much.
Well,
I know what that looked like.
Even for a guy like Seth Lugo, who is a veteran and has been really good this year, only his second year as a full-time starter since 2017. He's overperforming his peripherals, his fielding independent numbers. His fielding independent is still the second best mark of his whole career. Like, he's still out pitching the rest of his career in his first year with the Royals. It's been great, man. I've really wanted to give credit to the coaching staff, but specifically the pitch lab, if you will. They've been awesome. I've been very, very impressed so far with what the Royals have been able to do. Again, pregame is coming up here in just under 5 minutes, and we will have first pitch between the Royals and the Mariners coming up at 3:10 today. Real quick, a couple of notes from the NFL schedule release. We will give you the full Chiefs schedule tomorrow. It'll come out tonight. We will have the full thing. We'll break it all down. Best matchups, worst draw, all of that coming up on tomorrow's show. We'll lead off with that. But the big news today, we do know, Spencer, you brought this up yesterday, that we had heard that it was going to be divisional games on Christmas. Bunk! It's a lie.
Well, there's one divisional game.
Not on Christmas.
Not on Christmas, but the week before.
The week before, yeah.
I think what it was is the
Ravens.
divisional games were supposed to be the week before, but they didn't cross division for the other game.
Okay, so it will end up being both the Steelers and Ravens playing on Christmas Day. The Ravens and Texans afternoon Christmas Day. That'll be a great game. Would have loved that on a Sunday afternoon with nothing else going
A
on.
day where I won't be celebrating holiday with my family. Yeah.
I would like the start times to have been later.
Later in the day.
Like,
Yeah.
give me a 4:30 and 8 o'clock start.
Yeah. There's the other thing, too. The Chiefs game, Chiefs versus Steelers, Christmas Day, that kicks off at noon.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
A noon kickoff on Christmas. Move it back. I'm with you. If you're going to play the games there, move them back. Because at the very least, most families, you did the presents. A lot of families will do their Christmas dinner, Christmas lunch, some sort of earlier, a brunch, something like that. Maybe while the kids are opening up their toys, you get the fireplace going. Okay, better time to turn on a game. Noon?
This is literally the NFL's bigger than Jesus moment.
Yeah, for real, unironically.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not going to be bigger than the NBA games because
Oh, see, I think it will be.
it's going to be.
I
much
don't
bigger.
know.
Yeah,
because
it's going to be
all
much
you got to
bigger
do is
than
turn
NBA
on your TV. You got to turn on your TV, go to your
Oh,
apps,
okay. I see
get
what
into
you're saying.
Netflix.
Okay, I see your point there. I still think these NFL games, like, it sucks for the
It's
Chiefs.
easier to get to the NBA.
It is easier. You're right. Like, if you're just trying to throw on background noise, you don't care what it is. Yes, I think you're right about that. The NFL, the national obsession with pro football, though, I think will draw plenty of eyes to Netflix. The other thing here, too, and we'll get into this more deeply tomorrow on the show. I'm sorry, Chiefs fans. Like, I'm sorry for us because we cover the Chiefs. We're like de facto fans because we have to be for work. If you're a fan, this schedule blows,
Sucks.
and it sucks that you have to play on Christmas Day, middle of the day, 2 years in a row. That is awful.
And on Black Friday.
And on Black Friday. Yeah, it's brutal, and I get it. It's the Chiefs. It is
It's America's team.
They are America's team right now. America's quarterback, more than anything. They are what everyone wants to see, who everyone wants to see. And the NFL is going to make sure that when they're trying to say, hey, Black Friday game is a good idea, Christmas Day game, it's a good idea. You know how we're going to prove it? We're putting Patrick Mahomes on it.
I mean, they tried to put Aaron Rodgers on the Black Friday game last year.
Yeah, that's true. They tried. It didn't work, obviously, but they tried with that too. We'll get to the full schedule coming up on the show tomorrow. We will, of course, recap the Royals finale today against the Mariners. Rick Peterson will join us on tomorrow's show as well for the Lewis Toyota High School Whip Round. That starts at 2 tomorrow. We're off now for Royals baseball. For Dan, for Spencer, I'm Brendan. Talk to you tomorrow on 580 Sports Talk.